Hello and welcome. This is my channel, Paranoid Tarot. I'm Ren, and today we are going to be looking at what messages do you have from your spirit guides that you need to hear right now. And to be able to find out what message is meant for you, we have 4 piles here that we'll be going over, and each correlates with a stone, and that will help us get deeper meaning into what you yourself are looking for and what your angel wants to tell you. So let's get started. First, we have Ocean Jasper. And I really love this one in particular because it has such a bold, H kind of into it. And it just wraps around and I can't get enough of it. A friend actually gifted this to me, as well as many of the others that I have. Actually, all of these that I have here today were gifted to me. And they mean a lot to me. So let's put that, we'll put it right here because now we need to look at the card. For pile 1, we have the 3 of Wands in reverse. So Ocean Jasper, what does Ocean Jasper mean? What does it represent? Ocean Jasper is said to provide calm, uplifting energy to the holder in trying times, feeding into a more optimistic outlook on life. The stone aids clear communication and enhances self-confidence as well as self-insight. And if this sounds like something that you want from your spirit angel, your spirit guide, or perhaps even a spirit animal, then I believe this pile is probably for you, but to be extra sure, let's look at the 3 of Wands to get a look at you. What are you going through right now? The 3 of Wands in reverse represents playing small, lack of foresight, unexpected delays. If you are feeling belittled and you're just getting constantly tripped up, and things are just coming at you with no rhyme or reason or warning, it's just constant, then I believe this pile is for you. Please click in the description to find pile 1. Now let's move on to pile 2. We have here the blue lace agate. And it really looks to me like this cute little teardrop. Especially, the shape, of course, is a teardrop, but the color in itself just really embodies the idea of a tear to me. And the card representing this pile is the High Priestess. Now, this stone that represents your spirit guide is said to be based off the stone of communication, making it easier for people to become confident and articulate. As for the High Priestess, we have intuition, sacred knowledge, divine feminine, and the subconscious mind. So to me, this says if you're the type of person who really leans on your intuition and finds that actually gets you through life extremely well and helps you navigate through the world. And if you really lean on feminine energy and thinking about things in the foreground as well as in the background, like all things at once, just keep it in mind, having a good level head, then this pile is likely for you. Now we move on to pile 3. We have here one of my favorites, Carnelian Agate, and it just looks like burnt amber. It's absolutely beautiful. I love it so much. Let's get a closer look here. Even at this little break, I love it. All right, and the card we have to represent this pile is the Moon. All right. So what does Carnelian Agate represent? This represents bold energy, warmth, a joy that lingers as much as it empowers and stimulates. Its meaning is known to be that of courage, endurance, energy, leadership, motivation. This is also known as the Sunset Stone, and it has been used for years and years throughout history because it's known for its bright, rich coloring and for being used for inspiration and protection. And again, this is representing our spirit guide. Now, as for what's representing you, the moon, let's find out. The moon card represents illusion, fear, anxiety, subconscious intuition. So if you often have things that come into your mind where it's like, oh, I need to do this or that, but you don't because anxiety blocks you, fear blocks you, then this pile is likely for you. If you get caught up by what you think is going to happen and that ends up either being a self-fulfilling prophecy or just stops you altogether, then I would highly suggest picking pile 3. Now let's go on to our last pile. Here we have Bumblebee Jasper, another one that I love because it just looks so unique and colorful, so vibrant, and I just love the detailings of it. And for our card, we have the Magician in reverse. Now, Bumblebee Jasper, this raises our self-esteem and enhances creativity. It helps to ease stress and worry associated with others' opinions of you. If that's something you're looking for in a spirit guide, then pick pile 4. And to represent you, to really figure out if this is the pile for you, we have the Magician in reverse, which represents manipulation, poor planning, untapped talents. This is very similar to pile 3, but a little more muted, a little more like, whereas pile 3 has a sharp sense of intuition but doesn't follow it, pile 4 is constantly being manipulated, is fumbling up their plans, has abilities that they aren't even looking at, that you have no idea you have these talents, and you don't have that spark yet to find them and to unearth them. But our spirit guide here will be able to help us to do that. And same for all of the piles, where when we have an issue here and what we're going through, our spirit guides are going to be there for us. And this is just to help us tune in on what messages they need to give us to be able to help us. It's only for our betterment and not to scold us or to chastise us or anything of that sort. Now, please focus for a moment, if you will, and pick a pile. If none of them resonate with you, then maybe there is another read that is meant for you, or perhaps all of them are meant for you. I hope you can find some advice coming here in the next few minutes, and I look forward to doing your read. Let's get to it. Hello, pile 1, and welcome to your read. We have here the Ocean Jasper accompanied with the 3 of Wands in reverse. Now, this represents our spirit guide, someone who will provide calm, uplifting energy and will feed into a more optimistic outlook on life. We'll get clearer communication and more self-confidence as well as self-insight. That is our goal here. Place that there. Now we have your card that represents you. And we will pull 3 cards now from our deck. And what we're going to be doing is finding out your past, present, and future to be able to help get things started, get the ball rolling on what's going on, what's happening right now, what could happen. And after that, we're going to look into some oracle cards to really get some helpful messages from our spirit guides based on what's going to happen, what we know. And we'll go from there and try to get you some good advice today. Let's get these couple more good shuffles. Spirit guides, please give pile 1's past, present, and future so that we may look into it today and be able to give some insight that is much needed to our viewers. Okay. we have the Devil in reverse, the Ace of Cups in reverse, and the Empress. Let's take a closer look at this card. Our first card representing the past. We have the Devil in reverse. And I'm going to flip it over so you can get just a good look at what the card looks like in general. All right. We have what appears to be, I believe that's a lynx, killing a rabbit. And not only that, but it's been a struggle. It's been a fight because we have here 2 bear traps that have already been activated. So they've already like clamped up. So these 2 are probably fighting for a good time and running around before the rabbit was actually killed. Now that we have that card looked at, let's go over what it means. The Devil in reverse means releasing limited beliefs, exploring dark thoughts, and detachment. Now, so this card again represents the past. That to me says that you have been thinking about your issues that have been on your mind, that have been weighing on you, and you've been letting go, which is good. That's healthy. With the 3 of Wands being the representation of you with playing small, lack of foresight, unexpected delays, it is very big and very awesome of you that you've already taken a moment to kind of explore these dark thoughts and realize that they don't need to be hanging around you. They aren't doing you any good. And they need to be let go. But how do you let go? How do you get rid of them? They're just here. And so that's what we probably need to focus on today. Next, for your present, as in, what are you going through right now? We have the Ace of Cups in reverse. And again, I'll pull this card normal ways. We have, so we can see what it looks like. We have a hummingbird drinking from this overflowing cup. And it's just filled to the brim, just toppling over. Even though this hummingbird is probably already fed a bit from this cup, it has done nothing to diminish it. It is just overflowing. However, we have it in reverse, which means instead of overflowing, I feel like it's actually flowing out and being drained out. But what does it actually mean? The Ace of Cups in reverse means self-love, intuition, and repressed emotions. See, now that really works here with our Devil card in reverse, because this self-love here says that you knew that you need to let some things go and that you've had some dark thoughts to explore that you need to get rid of. And you've had that because you love yourself, as in you're not a selfish person, as in you love yourself. Oh, I just love myself. No, you actually respect yourself and you know you are a human being just like everyone else. And you deserve to have some good thoughts, to have some positive attitude. But we also have here that you have repressed emotions. So that to me says, even though you've been trying and thinking about letting these thoughts go, again, you don't know how to let them go. And you still have them bottled up inside of you. While you have identified some of the things that you need to work through, again, you just don't have that guidance as to how, which fortunately we will be working with here today. Lastly, we have the Empress, and finally a card upright, so I don't need to flip it. We have an ox here that is just resting in this beautiful field. The wind's blowing its hair and the sky's gorgeous. Everything seems to be at peace. Compared to these other 2 cards that show a lack or a hint of discourse. Which is good, because this is your future card. This is your future that's coming to you. Now, when upright, the Empress represents fertility, femininity, beauty, nature, abundance. So really leaning into this feminine energy and perhaps like think of it like Mother Nature, especially with all of this grass and greenery and mountains and clouds. And really all throughout these, we have nature depicted. And that's a beautiful thing. I don't think this feminine energy is necessarily like girly energy, like pink sparkles and all that. No, I think it's feminine energy, like Mother Nature. And that acceptance, that warmth, that embrace that Mother Nature can give to us, that a mother can give to us. I think that that's what we need, or what you need, pile one, to be able to really help you out through your day to day, and to really give you a better, more positive outlook on life. Now that we have a basis of what's going on and what could be, let's look at some oracle cards to find out what messages we have from our spirit guides to both help us in the now and help us gain this future that is very positive and lighthearted and just peaceful. Yes. So I have a couple of decks here to look at. Since we have a really strong nature theme, I feel called to use my nature themed oracle cards. We have the Flowers Oracle. We'll do that one first. All right, spirit guides, what messages do you have? That was not a card jumping out. That was just me shuffling poorly. Maybe if I put these up and gave myself a little bit of room to shuffle, that would be helpful. All right, let's try that. Spirit guides, what messages do you have for pile one to help them get to this future they desire, and to help them get rid of these issues that they've unearthed that they don't know how to get rid of, that are plaguing them right now and just kind of hanging around? How do we clean out the dirt from this shirt of life? All right, we have pulled number 2. Or rather, Aspen, and representing it is the number 2. So what does this mean? This seems just like kind of plain, right? Like, oh, Aspen. What? Aspen it was known as the Tree of Heroes, whose crowns of trembling leaves gave them power not only to visit the underworld, but also to return safely. And that really relates here and resonates here, because that's what you need to do. You need to explore these dark thoughts, these dark habits, these bad just vibes that you have bottled up within you, and you need to explore them and get out safely to be able to unearth them, to solve them, clean them, and then get out the other side without any scratches, because we don't need any more scratches. We already have scratches. So yes, we'll start with that. Now let's look at another flower deck. The Botanical Inspirations right here. And we will ask the same question, because we already know like what we need to do right here. But how? How can pile one cleanse themselves from these negative thoughts, these burdens, and get this peace, this sense of nature, this calmness, this, oh, I can just lay in a pile of flowers by the mountains and nothing's going to harm me. Nothing's going to get in my way. Nothing's going to harm me like it did here with the devil. Or even with the Ace of Cups in reverse, where we aren't getting water to drink, we're losing water. So yes, spirit guides, what can you tell us to help pile one succeed? The Red Rose. Hidden secrets. 3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. Okay, well, this says that these things that you have, these dark thoughts, they aren't going to stay hidden forever. They are going to come out one way or another, whether you do it in a positive manner or whether you just let them build up and eventually prick you with like these thorns that a rose has. And while we could have this beauty of this epiphany from getting rid of these problems, we also have to be careful while we do this that we do not let ourselves get pricked by the thorns, which is very easy because they're everywhere. It's natural. natural. Like its thorns are on the stem of every rose. And so, yeah, I think we need to remember that even if we try to keep these hidden, like on purpose, and try to bottle them up, they will find their way out if we are not careful and do not take the time to get our trimmers and get this rose and take care of those thorns. Now, to go along with this idea of nature, let's look at the Secret of Wandwood, which is another set of oracle cards that are nature-based, obviously. It's about Wandwood. I think I just said Wardwood. It's Wandwood. And let's see if we can get some more advice. What advice can we give pile 1 to help them unearth these dark secrets, to get them out, these dark thoughts, these harbored ill-seeking ideas, these negative things that are just like plaguing us, but we don't know what to do about them? What can we do about them? All right. Guidance. Well, that's what we're seeking. I think you're doing the right thing here today by looking up a tarot read for some guidance, because we all need guidance. We all need something to help us lead the way and to hold our hand every now and then. We don't have to do it all on our own. Our spirit guides are always going to be there when we want and need to hear from them. But what matters is, are we going to listen? And we got to remember that the message they give us might not be the message we want to hear, but it is the message that we need. And to remember that, like even with this guidance here, this card, we have a bell. And that to me says that the answers are here. They're waiting. We just got to ring the bell. We just got to grab the hold of that rope and just ring the bell and ask and take some time to meditate, to pray. And when I say pray, I don't mean necessarily like a religious faith praying, like, oh, I'm a Christian or I'm this or that, so I pray to God. No, pray as in think about what's weighing on your mind, what you need guidance for, these dark thoughts that are just like plaguing you, these emotions, and think in your mind, like really put it out there and just ask, no one in particular even, is there anyone there that can help me, that can guide me? And if there is, I am seeking you, I am open to you, and I want to get this help that I desire, but I simply don't know how. So I'm asking and I'm calling out. And you may find that you'll get some answers, not literal, oh, this is God speaking answers, but you might find that in time you get more clarity and more of a stronger sense of intuition that you learn to follow, that leads you to the path that you need to go on to leave this burden and to just simply be yourself, to love life. I do not want to leave you here with just that today. I am going to look up yet another oracle card that is nature themed. And let's just get a couple more pieces of wisdom. Spirit guides, what wisdom? Whoa, that one jumped out, but we'll see. It'll jump out again if it's meant for us, because I'm not sure if that was on accident or if that was like a thing or not. What can you tell pile 1 in regards to advice to help them get through what they're going through right now, their troubles, their trials, their tribulations? What advice can you give them in a simple card that'll speak to them, that'll help them, that'll give them that guidance that they need, that they're asking for, that they're actively searching for? All right. Fix that a little bit. And now let's pull our other card. A familiar. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. A familiar. Listen and learn. Maybe what you need is to contract a familiar. And a familiar is something that is very special, and it's a bond. It's a bond that you make. And it's a promise that you and the familiar that you pick will be able to synergize off each other, feed off each other, but also feed each other. Not just drain, pull, but to empower one another and to really move forward. And so perhaps what guidance that you need is to, again, obtain a familiar. Now, what is a familiar and how do you obtain one? A familiar is a spirit that takes the form of an animal, and they act as companions to people who are of the spiritual aspect of life. I don't want to necessarily say Christians or of religious value or anything like that, but just in general, like with any kind of spiritual enlightenment, a familiar could be handy. They can offer support, protection, guidance, like what we're looking for, and more. And they might not be what you're expecting, and the companionship may not last long. A familiar is not a lifelong contract. It is not binding yourself till death do us part like a marriage. And that's important to remember too, because that can be a sad thing when we find a familiar and we feel that connection one day is lost. And what that means is that we didn't do something wrong. The familiar didn't do something wrong. It means that they've taught you what they've needed to teach you. They've protected you what they need to protect you from. And now there is someone else out there, something or someone, another spirit that is seeking you, that wants to also become your familiar and take the place of this other one, because they now have that ability that the other one did not have to help you with whatever endeavors you are going through next. And the point being, you won't be left just alone, but it is something you need to seek out. It won't just come to you. You have to come to it and to call for it. Now, how do you find a familiar? How do you contract a familiar? How do you contract? As in, like, not contractions, but a contract as in how do you get into an agreement with one? Now, a familiar does not mean it is your pet specifically. However, it could be your pet. You could make a pet your familiar. My cat is my familiar. He saved my life and has helped me through a plethora of just really nasty situations. And I felt such a bond to him, such a connection, that I got him tattooed on my leg, and I love him to death. And I feel he's my familiar. Intuitively, I feel we connect on a way that other people just don't get it, I guess. And it's a very loving connection to have. It's good to have something that you can share between you and something that's just meant for you and it. But does that mean a familiar has to be your pet? No. A familiar could be, like, let's say there is a squirrel or even a raccoon, even a possum that frequents your backyard, that raids your trash can, that digs holes in your grass, something like that could be your spirit guide. There could be messages that you aren't realizing in, like, these nuances that actually can make a big impact on your life. Maybe this raccoon digging through your trash is trying to tell you that you have got some trash in your life that you need to rid of, that you were just letting linger around, and it's going to help you take it out, quite literally. But please, if you do see a raccoon going through the trash, do not approach them. Do not try to pet them. Raccoons can be very dangerous. So yes, if you feel a connection to your spirit guide or a spirit animal or just an animal in general, that does not mean they won't harm you and that you are just impervious to any wild animal. But it does mean that there are lessons that you could learn and advice to be given. And I think that's really important to remember and also very easy to overlook. Let's do 2 more things. First, we will look at the Practical Witches spell deck in order to find a spell for you that your spirit guide feels that you need to do right now to be able to help you get through this uncertainty, these burdens, how to cleanse yourself of this negativity and of this just all that's going on, and help you to really connect with your familiar, find that guidance, and all of those things. So, Spirit, what can you give? What spell here can you advise for pile 1 to perform to be able to either connect with their familiar or rid themselves of these negative thoughts, these just generally just bad feelings that they want to get rid of but can't cleanse. But they need just a little help, a little nudge, a little guide in the right direction. And what is that little guide? What is that little nudge? We are about to find out. Okay. We have make your own money bag to invite powerful change into your life and attract good fortune. During a waxing moon, prepare a tiny green pouch filled with basil and mint, 3 cinnamon sticks, 1 silver dollar, and a green stone. Hold the pouch over cinnamon or jasmine incense and say this spell. The moon is a silver coin. This I know. I carry lunar magic with me everywhere I go. Blessings upon thee and me as my abundance grows. Carry this power pouch with you as you go about your day, and soon blessings will shower down upon you. All right, pile 1. I think that if you follow this spell right here, this will help you find that familiar, that guidance, those answers you need, and get that powerful change in your life that you're desiring. Our final thing that we will do here today is I'm going to pull some numbers to see what numbers you need to pay attention to help you through this time while you're going through all this. What numbers can you pay attention to that will stick out to you and actually help you through this turbulent time? I don't even know if that's a word. Turbulent? That's probably a better word to use. All right. Spirit guides, what numbers will help guide pile 1? 10. All right. I would keep an eye out for the number 10. If you are uncertain about something and you have multiple decisions and the number 10 is hanging around one of them, or perhaps even the number 2, because we have the number 2 right here with Aspen, then I would highly suggest picking the decision that has to do with it. 10 also lowers down to 2. So it might be specifically 2 in particular that's important. So yes. That is my advice for you, pile 1. I hope this has helped in some way, any way, shape, or form, even in the tiniest fraction. And please leave a like, comment, or subscribe if this has helped you in any way, shape, or form. I would love to hear about what's going on with you and how things turned out, if your future ended up coming out as foretold, or if something else happened. Please let me know, and I look forward to giving you a read in the future. All right, bye. Hello, pile 2, and welcome. If you picked the Blue Lace Agate along with the High Priestess card, then this read is for you. Now, to get started, what we'll do is pull a past, present, and future card from this deck, the same one we used to pick your representation card. And we will use this to decide what is your not decide, but rather foretell what has been your past, present, and then what is your future. And based on this, we will see what's going on in your life and decide what oracle cards to use to be able to determine how our spirit guide can help us and what messages they have for us. All right, spirit guides, give me the gist of pile 2's past, present, and future so that we may pull up some good advice to be able to help out pile 2 and give them the messages that they need to hear. Okay? No way. I will explain why I just said no way in a second. Oh my God. Okay, so this is crazy. This card, the Devil, we pulled as the first card in pile 1, but in reverse. And not only that, but the Three of Wands, also in reverse, was the representation for pile 1. So it is really funny that we got both cards here, but right side up, which of course has a different meaning, different connotation, but I wonder what that means. Like, they're connected. Pile 1 and 2 are definitely connected somehow, but they seem to be the inverse of one another, which is just really interesting. Okay, now let's get to it. I got a little distracted because of that. Forgive me. The Devil upright means shadow self, attachment, addiction, restriction, sexuality. So perhaps you've been struggling with your, as it were, called dark side and have been dealing with possibly struggles with addiction, which addiction doesn't have to necessarily mean drug abuse. Addiction could be eating too much, drinking too much, doing too much of anything and habitually doing it because you feel the need that you have to do it. I'll just die, or I'll just feel terrible, or I just can't not do this thing. That is what addiction is. And you've also been under a level of restriction. So perhaps what this means is you've been struggling again with addiction and you've been really like withholding yourselves from things because of this, but you are still fighting both sides of this coin here. And that's what's been going on in your past. Now, let's get to the present. We have the Hermit in reverse. Let's take a closer look. Actually, really quick, I forgot to do a close look at the Devil. We have a lynx here, or a bobcat possibly, but I think it's a lynx that has just killed a rabbit. And what's important here is that, see these bear traps? They're already set. They've already been triggered, which means this was a fight to get to this point. And I know I pointed this out in pile 1 already because we also got this card, but it's important to point out because this was not just the predator cat saw the bunny and pounced and got it. No, this was a fight. This was a struggle. They tussled around and set off all these traps. And even so, neither of them got killed by the traps or caught by the traps, but they were in fights with one another. And even though all these other things, these problems were like snapping at them, they somehow avoided it because they were just so focused on each other. And they succeeded. They neither got hurt neither got hurt by the traps, but the bunny did get caught. So that to me says that you've been going through, you've not only been running away from this predator, but you've had all these other very terrible, very life-threatening, it feels like. Very like, just dour, it feels like the end of the world, even though it isn't. And these problems have been happening all around you, and even though they've been closing, they've still been happening at every turn, and it feels like even if you dodge these, you still got caught in the end. You're still captured, you're still caught by this predator. And we need to fix that. We need to figure out how we can build you up, defend you, give you a defense, and help you be able to continue to navigate around these problems, but also to avoid your biggest problem, whatever this big predator is that's after you and looming after you. Now, for your present, we have the Hermit in reverse. I'll pull this one up now. And I'll quickly do this so we can see what it looks like. It is a praying mantis on top of a branch, and its antennae are just perfectly holding up what looks like the sun in the background. Well, it is the sun in the background, but it makes it look like the sun is part of his antenna. And there's this sense of wonderment, but also fitting in so well, so perfectly. Just being in place, being home. But we have that in reverse. Reversed, the hermit means isolation, loneliness, withdrawal. So right now, you are feeling alone. You are feeling hunted after. You don't have anyone in your corner, and everyone should have someone in their corner. So we are going to today get this spirit guide in your corner. We're going to figure out how and figure out what message they have for you to get you out of this situation. Now, for your future so what this means is your future, as in if nothing's changed, this is likely what's going to turn out. But in whether good or bad. And so based on what this is, we can decide if we want to try to change it or to let things flow. Now, let's figure out what we have. We have the Three of Wands, and this is depicted with these 3 long poles, and a woodpecker is on top of one of them, about to peck a hole into it. And down here we have some just ships casually floating by. So this is a normal, typical sunny day, but we do have this woodpecker that's about to damage this pole, this wood. Now, upright. The Three of Wands means progress, expansion, foresight, overseas opportunities, which goes back to seeing the water here and the ships with these overseas opportunities. This could mean that possibly you'll have a chance to travel soon and to have opportunities elsewhere. It might not be permanent. It'll just be like a trip, or whether for work or vacation. I also see that while we have progress here with these ships, that progress is going to feel like it's in the background compared to the problems you have in the foreground, which is this woodpecker that's about to start beating down on this wood and start destroying it. So while we do have this progression, this moving forward, we also have you're going to hear this echo of this woodpecker just hammering into this wood. And even if you're moving forward, you're still going to hear that really irritating sound, and it's not going to be off your mind. So I really do think that you need to get some messages today to hear from your spirit guide, to be able to drown out this noise and be able to focus on just moving forward, progressing, expanding, exploring. Yeah. To do that today, first we'll move these cards up so I have some space to shuffle. Let's look at some oracle cards to really get some messages, some direct messages from our spirit guide. Now, I have a lot of oracle cards, so it becomes a question of which is best for what read and what's going to have the message that you need. And so what I try to do is I look at the cards that I have that have been pulled, and I try to see what I could relate to based on the theme of an oracle deck to make sure that's the message that's really hitting home. And the signs I see here, you see on the Black Widow, Black Widows have this red spot, and that's how you can spot a Black Widow, if they're either black or brown, and they have this really poignant red speck underneath them. Likewise, the green on this praying mantis is really sticks out. It's really bright, very vibrant. And the red and green against the blue also here stick out to me. So these are very important color points, I feel. And so with that in mind, I'm going to pull from the Prism Oracle, which is an oracle that pulls meaning based off the meaning of colors and color theory. So we will be shuffling these cards today, to find out, Spirit Guide, what insight can you give, what advice can you give to pile 2 to help them get over these nagging issues, these problems that are hitting them, to be able to move forward and to be able to calmly navigate the seas of their future opportunities. Okay. Purple. We have purple representing faith. Okay, this to me says that what you need to do is something that's going to be both, it's simple and yet very hard at the same time. And that is to have faith. Have faith in your spirit guide, lean on them, and trust that they will protect you. And what does that mean? Because right now we don't feel like we have the spirit guide. We might just, or maybe we do. Maybe we do and we aren't either, how do I word this? Forgive me for being a little bit of a jumble now. There's a lot here. So we have to have faith in our spirit guide, whether we know them yet or not, whether we've identified them, they are there. They're there and they are waiting for us to call upon them and to utilize them to be able to navigate life. And we need to have faith in that and faith that they can and will do that, whether we know of the spirit guide yet or not. And whether or not we know of, they are there. And it's all about faith. Oh, and purple is a very powerful color for psychic energy, for really like tuning into the other side. It's very intuitive, very indicative of creativity, royalty, power, ambition, luxury. And I think these are things that you could all have and embody if you have faith. And if you show faith, provide faith, and try to let go of your doubts. Next, we're going to look at the Wisdom of the House of Night cards for some more wisdom to help us out here and to really help us navigate through this problem. What is our spirit guide? What is pile 2 spirit guide trying to tell them? What does pile 2 spirit guide desperately want to tell them? What wisdom is out there that pile 2 needs to hear right now? Letting go. Okay, yeah. So letting go really coincides with faith, because to have faith, you have to let go of what you know for a concrete fact and have faith to let go. You gotta, like, it's like the trust exercise where you fall and someone catches you. You have to trust, to have faith that this spirit guide is going to catch you if you fall, and that it's not the end of the world making certain decisions or choices, whereas you might be holding yourself back because it does feel like the end of the world. Now, looking a little bit more into this card, we have the number 22, so perhaps 22 could be important and mean something. 22 goes down to 11, 1, 1, and that number is important because the number 11 is considered to be the gateway to enlightenment, which is what we're looking for here. We are trying to find enlightenment to be able to overcome these obstacles that are in our way of our travels, of moving forward. Next, we're going to look at the Shamanic Healing Oracle cards to get a little bit more advice on what you can do, pile 2, in order to actually feel this faith to be able to let go. Yeah, how can pile 2 let go to be able to have faith, the faith that they need, to be able to rely on this spirit guide, to help them through life, to be able to guide them. Slow but steady. Okay. So this is not a race, pile 2. This is not, oh, I gotta do this right now. I gotta solve this. I gotta get this faith, this letting go thing. I gotta get on that. No. Let go. Slow but steady. Breathe. Just have faith. Relax. And let things take their course. Maybe it's, so we have so much going on and so much that's gone on in our past that it's hard to have faith and hard to let go and hard to be slow and steady. But that's exactly what you need, pile 2. That is what your spirit guide is desperately trying to tell you, to help you move forward, to be the best you, to feel the best you, and to exude the best you to everyone around you, to just be exuberant with this creative energy, this flow, this steadiness that you desire to have so much, but for now just isn't quite in your grasp. It feels like you almost have a hold of it just the same way this praying mantis's antennas seem to have a hold on the sun. But in reality, it's far away and it's not in your grasp. It's not in your hold, but it could be, and it can be, and it will be. If you have faith, let go and be patient. Let things take their course, ride them out. Don't rush it. Don't just breathe and go through the motions. Now then, let's do one more thing. No, 2 more things. We will pull from this spell deck right here to be able to see what spell can pile 2 do to be able to either connect to the spirit guide, or if they aren't already connected to this spirit guide, or to a spell to help them have faith, be slow and steady, patient, to help pile 2 let go. Let's see what we have here. We have conjuring pleasure. Make a vow to bring forth all your sensual power. You will radiate passion and be intensely drawn to your lover. Perform this ritual at the next full moon. Collect essential oils, candles, and a drink of your choice. Begin with a blissful bath in oil-scented water. Sit in a darkened room. Raise a cup of jasmine tea, a glass of wine, or whatever your special drink is, and speak this spell aloud. Now I awaken the goddess in me. I surrender to love's power. Tonight I will heat the night with my fire. As I drink this cup, my juices flower. I am alive, I am love, and so it is. Okay, pile 2, I feel that if you follow this spell, that will help you to open up, to let go, to relax, to go slow and steady, to be able to really open up to your spirit guide and find the advice you need, not just right now, but continually throughout the future, and to have that supporting hand to help you through it. Now, let's do one more thing. We will pull from my little jar of dice here and grab a number we'll grab this one, that will help you make some decisions in this next upcoming week, or just throughout, I wouldn't say throughout your life, this one specific number, but you know, for a while, like if this number pops up, maybe that's the choice you're supposed to have. Like it could be as simple as there are 2 drinks you can't pick between, like for your spell, for instance, but one of them has this number on it somewhere, whether that's the ounces, the calories, etc., etc. All right. What numbers does pile 2 need to look at? 8. Okay. So pay attention to the number 8. And hopefully that will help you make some guiding decisions and to be able to help you to have faith, let go, have patience, be slow and steady, and to get through this time and to be able to fully enjoy when you're going through these waters and your oversea adventures, which doesn't have to literally be oversea, but simply something that you're traveling to, that you're doing that you weren't going to before. And you won't have to worry about this nagging woodpecker that's just like pecking away in the background, because that woodpecker has nothing to do with you. It's in the background. It's not in your way, but it feels like it is. It is right there. So we are going to let go of that, and we're going to have faith and patience, and we're going to get through this pile too. All right, that draws your read to a close. I hope you found some kind of advice here, even if it was just one little sliver that helped you out. And please let me know if it did. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you listen to my reads in the future. I hope I can help you out in the future. And I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, night, whenever you're watching this video. This video is timeless. It doesn't have to do with any particular month, day, or year. And I hope you have just a great day, a great time. And I will hopefully speak to you next time. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. If you chose the moon along with the Carnelian Agate, then this read is for you. Let's slide these over. And what we will do here is for pile 3, we are going to ask, what is your past, present, and future? And our past and present will really hammer down what's going on, what has gone on with you, what's going on with you right now. Then our future card will tell us if nothing changes, this is how things are likely to go, whether good or bad. And then we will ask the oracle cards what messages our spirit guide has for us to be able to keep that future or be able to change it for the better. All right. Again, this is crazy. So for pile 2, I pulled 2 cards that related to pile 1, but they were flipped the opposite way. So reversed instead of regular, right? Well, this is a card from pile 2, but it was reversed. Oh my goodness. So far, all of these piles have had a card that was reversed that was related to it somehow. That goes into the other one that's the opposite way. So it's really funny how we're having this flip-flop of, oh, this means this. Oh, it actually means this. I wonder what that means, if that really, like, because it's just crazy, the coincidences in all the decks. Maybe we'll go into that if it happens with the 5th one. I'll be like, okay, this is a read that maybe just a lot of people need to hear a lot of these. They intertwine. So let's first start with what we have for your past, the 6 of Cups. Here we have depicted a family of otters that are just chilling out in the river, just drinking and basking with their goblets and just having a merry, merry time. But what does the 6 of Cups itself mean? The 6 of Cups means revisiting the past, childhood memories, innocence, joy. If you've been reflecting on your past lately, thinking about maybe childhood memories or maybe memories that you've had with friends, good times with a family member, perhaps even a family member that's passed, but these are good memories. These are all ones that bring a tear to the eye almost, and you're just enjoying things, just relaxing, just kind of reminiscing, and it's positive, it's good, it feels good. For your present, we have the Hermit, which here is depicted as a praying mantis climbing up on a branch, and its antennas are almost perfectly cupping the sun in the background, but it's not, right? We know this. We could do this with our fingers in front of the sun, and it looks like we're holding the sun between our fingers like this. but we're not actually doing it, but we are basking in the glow of it here and just being able to, I get a positive feel for this. Let's look into what the hermit itself means. The hermit means soul-searching introspection, being alone, inner guidance, which just ties in all too perfectly here with the Six of Cups, where we're having this introspection, this soul-searching, this thinking about our best self, our good memories. And really holding on to that, just like we're holding on to the sun, we're holding it like a chalice, just like these otters are, where we're basking in that glow. Lastly, for the future, we have the Two of Cups in reverse. Now, this card is a little different. First of all, we have it reversed. So let's look at what it looks like regular. We have these discarded cups that have been seemingly possibly tossed off the side of a boat and just left to fall to the seafloor. And we have this cute little hermit crab just crawling by, just doing its thing. And meanwhile, these cups are not being used, but they are in the ocean. So even though they appear empty, they're technically full. However, we have this in reverse. So let's look into what the card itself means. The Two of Cups in reverse means breakup, imbalance in a relationship, lack of harmony. Oh dear. So while we have all of these good feelings, I'm now starting to get the bigger picture. There is possibly a breakup or a loss coming up. This could be anything from a relationship to a job. And while we've been thinking about all the good times with this person and all the happy times, maybe we shouldn't be doing that. Like, of course we want to look at the happy times and see all the good things, but maybe what you're doing is letting the good overshadow the bad and not letting you see that, wow, your cup feels full, it appears full, but it's actually empty. There's actually no drinkable water inside. And even though it feels like we're just basking, we're just enjoying, we've just been having such merry thoughts and memories, really there's a lack thereof. Or possibly maybe the good is just going to be followed by the bad, and that while our cups are filled up now, they won't be. And of course we want to try to avoid this, but it could be for the better. You never know. We will look into the oracle cards to get a better read as to what this means. I feel called to pull from the Dream Interpretation Tarot. And the reason why is because since you've had such strong introspection lately, I feel that is leaving the subconscious mind to be able to hone in on these problems we're not seeing in the front of our mind. And so with this dream interpretation, I'm going to ask for pile 3, what are these negative aspects? What's a negative aspect that they aren't seeing that is going to end up leading them to the Two of Cups, in reverse, to this dour end, to this imbalance, this breakup? Dogs. Okay. Now that seems kind of vague. Perhaps, it could be as simple as you and your partner want a pet or one of you wants a pet and the other doesn't agree. And that can be enough to break up a relationship, because a dog or just a pet in general is a long-term commitment. And if your person isn't ready for that, they shouldn't be pushed into it. So maybe if you're the one who wants this pet, this animal, this new companionship, and your partner doesn't, it could be for the better that you go through this breakup, the Two of Cups in reverse, in favor of the pet. I know that sounds strange. Why give up a love for an animal? Well, an animal can be just as rich as a relationship in terms of the companionship, the love, the acceptance they provide for you, as well as, in the case of a dog, physical protection. And we have here, let's look a little deeper into this card. This man, we're seeing the back of him, and he's just kind of not really caring or noticing that his dogs are just kind of flying around. And that to me says that you are lost in this introspection that you're going through. So much so that you aren't seeing these crazy things happen in front of you. But you are at the same time still smoking, which indicates there's this nagging, this slight annoyance, this aggravation, this need that needs to be fulfilled. And you're smoking, or maybe not literally smoking, but the depiction here is using an excuse or using a vice in order to get through these problems to make everything seem chill. But it's not chill. These dogs are hovering around. What in the world? So what you really need, I believe, is to look a little less inward and more outward objectively what's going on around you. That is our first bit of advice. Next, why don't we look into the wisdom of the House of Night to find some wisdom as to what you should do. What should your next move be to help you gain this lack of intense introspection and to see the world around you for what it is? I'm going to move these up so I have room to shuffle. What advice can you give to pile 3 to help them be more mindful of what's going on around them instead of what's going on in their head? Reminder, don't forget. Okay. So here's what this tells me. You are letting things slide and you are letting things go a little too much. There are things you are forgiving that you need to not forget. You need to keep in mind, because these things, though they may seem small, are tallying up and are building up and are constantly weighing on you more than you realize, because you're thinking in your head, oh, this is just a little thing. They forgot to do this. They forgot to do that. Well, they've actually forgotten to do it more than probably like a dozen times, and you're the one who has to clean up after them or take care of them or do this and that, where it's things that they could easily do themselves. And they aren't thinking that when they don't do this thing, that they're actually making you do it, but you are, and you are doing it, and you're doing it for them, and you're just letting it go. But you need to remember sometimes that, hey, this thing isn't just a 1 or 2 time thing that's going to happen. This is constantly happening. Let's do something about it. Let's point it out. Let's get to the root of the issue, because you may not realize it, but it's hitting you more than you think. It's weighing more on your mind than you realize. And you're only going to know this when you do let go. When you let go of that, as in when this problem is actually solved, then you can let go. But when it keeps happening, don't forget. Remember, hey, this thing has happened a lot now, and I think it's going to keep happening again. So let's actually point it out and do something about it. What card next? I'm feeling pulled towards the Botanical Inspirations cards. Let's pull from there to get one more seed of advice before pulling out our spell deck and doing our dice roll. So here's the back of the cards. All right. What advice can you give pile 3 to help them get through these burdens that they are overlooking, that they need to put more of a spotlight on to be able to have a happy ending and move forward? And even though they think things are merry, things might not be. And what could help them see that, hey, I could be even happier. I could have even more cups, more cups to fill if I let go of this. Let's see. Dahlia. Dahlia, let's pull this up a little closer, is representative of dignity. A wise man has dignity without pride. A fool has pride without dignity. This is very important here, and this is definitely relates, because a wise man has dignity without pride. This means that you have pride without dignity in the way that you're letting things happen, letting things go, but you still have your pride about you. You still, like, if things get way too out of hand, you do something about it, but you're letting go of your dignity because you're letting other things happen that shouldn't keep going on, that shouldn't be forever issues that have become forever issues, repetitive issues. And what you need to do is showcase some dignity and stand up for yourself and see that you are overlooking some major things going on here and just kind of basking in the good memories. When there are problems here, you need to uproot and really look into. All right. Now that we have that, let's look into the spell cards. Now, these cards give out different spell ideas along with how to perform them. And how I like to use these cards is I ask the spirits, what spell could pile 3 perform that'll help them gain this dignity, to help them gain this awareness of objectivity versus emotional awareness, because they're very in tune emotionally, but they're letting things happen on the outside that they don't realize. So what spell could aid them in this endeavor to see things factually? We have prophetic dreams. Take a dried poppy seed pod and empty the seeds onto the ground. Take a tiny strip of paper and write down a question about how to obtain meaningful and positive rewards in your life. Sleep with the pod and the paper under your pillow. You will experience prophetic dreams that will answer your question. This is best done during the Pisces moon. Keep a dream journal by your bed and write down the dream immediately upon waking. Make this a ritual and you will have a rich resource of inner wisdom to guide you. All right, pile 3. I believe if you do this spell, that will help you find the answers you need and to really see things for how they are and not just how you want them to be. Or, yeah. And before I leave you, let's pull some dice here and be able to see what numbers should you be paying attention to that will help you make decisions. Whereas if you're unsure between A, B, and C, if there's a number hanging around this, whether that's a time or ounces, as in like, oh, this milk is this many ounces, so I should get this versus this other brand, and it turns out the other brand would have made you sick. You know, things like that. Don't take it too insanely to heart. Don't choose your stock options based on this. But for day-to-day decisions that you just cannot decide on, let's find numbers that'll help. Okay. We have the number 8. Keep an eye out for the number 8 when making your decisions. And it's funny because we also have 28 right here. So 8 and 28. And I hope that helps you in some way, pile 3. I hope that's the advice that you need to be able to break through this daydream and to see things for how they are. Even if that may hurt a little bit, it'll help you in the long run, be healthier in the long run. And I hope you'll stay tuned in the future for future reads. If this helped you in any way, shape, or form, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. And I hope to help you in the future. Thanks for tuning in. Bye. Hello, Pile 4. Welcome and thank you for listening to this read. Right here, we have the Bumblebee Jasper. And as a quick recap, the Bumblebee Jasper raises our self-esteem and enhances creativity. And it helps us to ease stress and worry associated with others' opinions of you. Now, the card that represents you here is the Magician in reverse. And the Magician in reverse represents manipulation, poor planning, untapped talents. Now, do I think that this means that you are a manipulator with, no. It does not mean that. What it means is that you are someone who is probably susceptible to manipulation and that you've utilized poor planning techniques and have untapped talents. Now that we have the card that represents you, let's look into your past, present, and future. And, so the past has already happened, right? So that will help us further determine if this is the right pile for you, if that sounds like your past. And then we'll go over the present, what's happening right now. And lastly, we'll have the future. And the future is not set in stone. The future is never set in stone. It can be changed. It can be warped. It could just play out. And we need to determine, do we want the future as it is to play out? Or do our spirit guides need to tell us something that needs to change our future to perhaps have a better future, one that we would appreciate more? This card jumped out, so I'll pick that one first. All right, we have for our first card, the Sun. Now let's take a better look at this. We have a lemur that is meditating out in the sun and just basking in its rays. However, we do not have it that way. We have it reversed, which could possibly indicate having those rays pulled out from us, drained from us. Maybe we've been really tired lately and we don't know why. Let's look into what the sun itself means. The sun in reverse means temporary depression and lack of success. That to me says that you have been in a lull lately. You aren't normally someone who's like a depressed person, like day to day, but lately it's been hanging over you and it's been bothering you. You haven't had much success. You've had a lot of failures lately. And hopefully we can change that, especially since it's foretold that it's temporary. If that sounds like you, then please continue on with the read. We next for your present have the Three of Swords. And in that card, this is represented with an elephant that's looking on to a dead elephant that has 3 swords staked into it. It's very solemn, very depressing, very sad. Now, what does the Three of Swords represent? The Three of Swords represents sort of what we see here right on the surface. Heartbreak, emotional pain, sorrow, grief, and hurt. So going along with this past card, this depression is still hanging on to you right now. You are still feeling it. You are in a state of sorrow and grief. And it's difficult to see past it. All you can see is this death, this sadness right before you, and you're in a state of mourning. This does not necessarily mean that someone in your life has died, but it does mean that you have lost something of value to you, and because of that, you've been in this depressed state for a while. Lastly, we have no way. Every single pile so far, 1, 2, 3, and 4 have been connected by some card that has been in a position that's the reverse of what it was in the other card, or just the same one from one of the other piles. There's been like one card that's been like, and it's just crazy. And this is one of those cards. And so that's just insane. Let's see. This is really, these cards are really in tune right now into what's going on. We have the Six of Cups in reverse, which when we look at this upright, it depicts this family of otters that are really happy and just like really content and just basking in this river while drinking from these cups. And they have so many cups. There's plentiful. There's enough for everybody. But unfortunately for you in this read, unlike the prior read, we have this card in reverse. And in reverse, this means living in the past, forgiveness, lacking playfulness. So this future is foretelling that this depression that is not normally with you, but is with you now because of a grief, because of loss, is going to stay and linger with you if we don't do something about it. So let's pull some oracle cards so we can ask our spirit guide here, what can we do to help get you out of this funk and restore your playfulness? How about we begin with colors? We will start with the Prism Oracle, which depicts different feelings, emotions, things to do based on colors and color theory. All right, spirit guides, what little tidbit of advice can you give to pile 4 to help them avoid this dour end that's being foretold and to give them a happy ending, something that will help them alleviate this state of mourning and bring them back their playfulness, their joy? We have sweetness. Maybe what you need is a little bit of sweetness in your life. Right now, you should not worry about spoiling yourself, aka spoil yourself. Don't think too bad about it. You right now need some TLC, some tender loving care, and do not be afraid to gorge a little bit on something nice, something to make you feel good. You are right now in pain and you don't have to be forever. But that's not to say that, oh, just make your pain turn off. No. You need to ride this out, but having a little bit of sweetness in your life, maybe having a friend or a family member or a pet that is kind and loving and caring towards you, having them around you in this time could be very helpful and really help you get through it. Sometimes we all just need a few kind words. Next, let's look into the Flowers Oracle. All right, Spirit, what flower, what plant with its bit of wisdom ingrained into it can you tell pile 4 to help them through this time of grief and this time of suffering? Okay. Genetian, or no, Gentian? 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 I have never heard of that plant before, that flower. We also have the number 12. Now, I will look up exactly what this flower means and how it relates to you. In the language of flowers, this flower is represented by justice and victory. Thus, along with gladiolus, gentian or gentian is sometimes called the flower of victory because its upward flowering shape. You need some victories in your life. You need some wins, whether it's small or big or medium, whatever it is. You need some to go out and maybe even do something as simple as playing games. Just something like with this person that you care about. Play some card games, play some video games, do something that like lets your mind be free for a minute and focus on something else and really just let it relax. You have all this tension built up, but we are going to be victorious here. We are going to build you up and get through this, and it's going to be okay, pile 4. It's going to be all right. Since you are going through a hard time, I think it's only appropriate that we go through the Shamanic Healing Oracle. Spirit, what advice can we give Pile 4 to help them heal? Oops. To help them heal. What wisdom is there for Pile 4 to help them through this time? Transformation. All right, let's take a better look at this card. Right now, we are this little caterpillar. We are hurt. We are in a state of mourning. We are not feeling justified. We are feeling down and small and very weak. What we need to do is harden ourselves and become something entirely new. We need to right now rest and be like the caterpillar. When going into this cocoon, we are protecting and shielding ourselves. And right now, that's what you need. Right now, you are vulnerable and you need to protect yourself. You need to garnish yourself with sweet things and with nice people to help you feel victorious and to help bring you up. And when you do this, you are in the end going to transform into this beautiful butterfly that is again victorious, that's vibrant, that's playful, fluttering around. And we will not hopefully have this dour Six of Cups ending where we continue to go through this state of grief and loss. Okay, Pile 4, let's look at the Moon Spell cards. And what these cards are going to do is they're going to give us a spell that will help you find something to be able to focus on and heal yourself, to be able to start this transformation. Transformation does not happen overnight, so it will take some time, some patience, but I promise you, Pile 4, if you put the effort into it and ask the universe and genuinely give yourself to it, it will pay you back by helping you through this time, by sending you messages and different ways that we may not even expect. Just totally off the wall things can happen just all the time. And it's just like, oh, wow, all these coincidences are lining up. I wonder if there's something more behind it. But anyway, all right, spirits, what spell will help Pile 4 get through this time of grief? We have divining decisions. Many witches carry a pendulum with them to help make decisions. Take a strong string or length of leather and tie a ring, gemstone, or crystal to the end. By the light of the new moon, take a bundle of sage, light one end, and pass the smoke over your pendulum, smudging and purifying your space. Holding the pendulum still, chant, "Guide me to the path of truth. Goddess, hear my song. This pendulum I charge with my energy to judge right from wrong. So mote it be." Anytime you need advice before making a decision, dangle the pendulum and observe its movements. Swaying from front to back means yes, and left to right means no. All right, Pile 4. I think that getting a pendulum or making one yourself will be very helpful for you, because right now in this time, you are so overwhelmed by your sorrow, by what you're going through, that it's difficult to make decisions and to make certain choices. And so why don't we just let the spirits take that weight off of us and help us make the decision by being guided by a pendulum? And last but certainly not least, let's look up what numbers are going to help you, Pile 4, make a decision. Actually, I feel called to this one. Make a decision that you need. So Spirits, if there's a number that pile 4 should be paying attention to, whether it's the back of a license plate on the car, the current gas price at a certain gas station, the numbers on that they just see on a drink that they happen to, if there's 2 drinks that they can't choose between, Pepsi or Coke, then what number in making this decision of A or B will help them? 20. All right, you heard it from the dice itself. Keep an eye out for the number 20. This could also be a date, such as the 20th. Now, we already passed the 20th of January, so perhaps the 20th of February will be important. Or it could be a time like, let's see, what other number do we have? We have 12 here, so perhaps 12/20 would be a good time to perform this spell to make your pendulum. It could really be anything, but utilizing these numbers can really help like narrow down indecisiveness, which creates stress for us all. That, I believe, will draw our reading to a close. Thank you so much for listening and paying attention. I really appreciate it. I hope you found some sort of message here that helped you in some way, gave you either inspiration or something to go off of to make you feel better and to help you go on with your day with a smile rather than a frown. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you continue to listen to my reads in the future. Please like, comment, and subscribe if this read was helpful for you in any way. And I hope to be able to do reads for you in the future. All right. Bye.